Hey everyone, how's it going? Notice something different about me? Yeah, there, right there. Lost a big chunk of my tooth on the weekend. And it's pretty embarrassing and it's a pretty lame story of what happened. So I'm just gonna let you guys try to guess how I lost my tooth. You guys can leave a comment below with what you think happened with this. And now it makes me talk kind of funny, so I kind of have a lisp. So fair warning, I'm gonna say some words kind of awkwardly throughout the video, but it's okay. I'm hillbilly now. So I actually broke the tooth on purpose so I could become a hillbilly. There you go. Anyways, for the video, I'm actually gonna show you guys how to make this t-shirt that I'm wearing right here, which is 2 braids along the neckline, along the collar. But before I do that, I need to ask for a small favor. A small favor for this poor broken tooth girl is actually that I'm in this contest right now for social media awards in Vancouver. So I really need you guys to help support and vote for me to make me the best student YouTube channel in Vancouver. I'm running up against 6 other people, and so the most votes will win. So I really need your guys' help in just clicking a big vote now button on the website, thesocialmediaawards.ca. I'm gonna leave a link in the description box and have it in the video so you guys can help click and like me, please, because I'm gonna teach you how to make this awesome t-shirt. So the first step would be to decide what t-shirt you want to use. Because the design of the t-shirt is kind of like a nice design, like I wanted to choose a t-shirt that had a thin fabric. So I grabbed this one out of my closet. It's like a gray t-shirt that I wear quite a lot, and you can tell it's old and I wear it a lot because the tag's all frayed. But I chose it because it's thin fabric, it's round neck, and it's long and fitted. You don't want to choose a neckline that's too low because when you actually add the 2 braids, it might go a little bit lower and it'll be all scrunched up. So this is kind of like a moderate neckline, I would say. And when I was searching online to how to do the braided neckline, people were actually saying they cut off the bottom of the t-shirt so they can have the exact same fabric and match it with the braiding fabric at the top. And except I don't really want to cut off the bottom of my t-shirt because I like my t-shirts long and I want to keep it like a t-shirt I can wear with leggings. So luckily for me, I actually keep a box full of fabric scraps from any t-shirt I've ever cut up. If I have any scraps that are like, you know, leftovers, I just throw them in this box. So I have like collars of t-shirts and like sleeves and string and whatever. So you can actually choose like a contrasting color as well if you wanted like a gray t-shirt with like a green braid around it. You could totally do that. But I just found this gray fabric that's from the bottom of a t-shirt that I cut off to make it shorter. So this gray kind of matches with this gray. This is a little bit lighter and a different texture, but it's close enough, so I'm just going to use this. The next step would be to cut this up into strips that you want to use around the neck. So the thinner the strips you cut them, the more thin the braid will be, a more delicate look. The wider it is, it's going to be more chunky. And keep in mind that once you actually cut the strip and you stretch it out, it goes thinner. And so because this t-shirt actually has no seam, there's no end all the way around the t-shirt, I'm just gonna have to start somewhere random and cut into it. But if you actually have a seam on your t-shirt, you'll probably want to cut that off and then start cutting forward like that. So you can kind of test it out while you're cutting. I stretched it out, and this is how thin it got when I cut this much. So This is actually about 1 inch, even more than an inch. I measure 1 inch by 2 fingers of mine. So I'm gonna keep going at this width because I think it looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna start doing tiny little holes starting at the shoulder seam. So there's a line right there, so I'm just gonna start there. So the braid's gonna start here and end there, only on the front side of the t-shirt. So I just did a tiny hole, and it actually stretches up to be pretty big, so try to keep your holes as small as possible, especially if it's a thin fabric, because thin fabrics will stretch quite a bit. So here's 3 holes so far. I'm just eyeballing an inch, then I pinch the fabric and just snip a little bit off like that. So let's just try it and see how this looks. So what I'm doing here is underneath the shirt, I'm going to loop the string and poke it through the hole so that I have a loop on the other side of this shirt. And then you just take this loop and put it through the previous loop. And there you have a new braid. And then I just make sure that the t-shirt still sits flat, it's not too tight after every new loop. So here we go again, is looping the string that's coming out from underneath. Stick it through the next hole, pull it out, and this loop goes inside this loop, and make sure the t-shirt sits flat. So when I'm in the process of cutting up a t-shirt, I'm always like stopping and going and just checking, trying to do things non-permanently to just see if I'm on the right track, and that's like a reason why I didn't finish cutting the back of the string off, because I don't know how much string I'm gonna need yet, and that's why I didn't, do this permanently, because I don't know what it looks like yet. So after putting on this t-shirt, I actually realized that scrunching a t-shirt makes the collar higher and not lower. So I think I need to do longer loops because it's pulling too much here, making my sleeves look funny. Or maybe I put my holes too far apart. So one of those 2 reasons is why the shirt looks like this. So, but now since the holes are already cut, like the only solution I have is to just make sure that the loops are not so tight so that it's pulling the shirt together. So I want to show you guys what the holes look like now, actually. So it turns out that I was making the holes a little bit too close together in the beginning, and I started making them more further apart later on. And so yeah, I think that's just too close. You don't need it to be that close, so keep in mind that for you guys when you make your t-shirt. And also keep in mind that I think I put the holes, I think, a little bit too far away from the edge of the neckline. So when the braid comes out, I think you might be able to see like the edge of the t-shirt. So I'd rather have it hide the t-shirt. So if you made the holes a little bit closer to the edge, you might not have that problem. Or if you don't mind, you can leave it as is. So it's all good. But keep in mind, especially if I have a finished neckline. So if you're doing, if you just cut your own neckline, so it's a raw edge, you don't want to put your hole too close to it because you don't want it to be able to rip all the way through and just break on you. So keep that in mind if you're using a raw edge. You don't want to put the holes too close to the edge. And so to close off the end, I'm going to take the end that's coming out from the inside of the shirt. I'm just going to loop it around the first loop. So just going to tie a knot there. Because basically if you're using your own shirt, it might be just double the amount because you're pretty much just doubling the string all the way across, so keep that in mind. And I don't particularly like how it looks a little bit more thin at the bottom, and I think it's because I started cutting the string thinner, and then so I think the string's a little bit thinner here, a little bit thicker here, so it's not super even. So maybe you should be more aware of that when you're cutting your string, because I just did like whatever when I was cutting this. And so I think I will do one more row since I have fabric left over still, and I don't like how you can see the holes here, so I kind of want to do another row really close together just to cover that up. Okay, so here is the final look at the t-shirt, and I just love how it turned out. I'm really happy with it. And so I cleaned up the ends, so I just made sure there were no more knots, and flattened it out, and I think it looks really good. Everything's very clean there, and this side all good. Yeah, so another reminder to please vote for me. The website is thesocialmediaawards.ca, and then so you just go under, there's probably a button, you can click vote now and find my name, Salinabear, and vote for me, please. I would much appreciate it. And don't forget, in the comments below you can still guess how I lost my front tooth. Okay, see you guys, bye!